What's up, Scorpio and Scorpio rising? Welcome back to Beyond the Veil Tarot and Astrology. My name is Candice Marie. I'm here to help guide you through the transits for the month of September 2025. And I'm going to be looking at the transits based off of your rising sign. So please remember that your rising sign, also known as your ascendant, is going to give you a much more personalized read than your sun sign alone. And it's kind of setting the stage for the order of the planets in your chart. If you don't know your rising sign, check out a birth chart calculator online, put in the time and the location so you can figure it out. And be sure to listen to your rising, sun, and moon sign prediction videos. They are now all separate to get a kind of a complete picture of what's going to be happening for the month ahead. And also, I really recommend listening to the sun and the moon sign because we're going to have eclipses this month. So you definitely want to listen to those. I'm a Western astrologer. That's what I like to practice. And I'll be using the whole rising sign system for my presentation today. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Click that bell button below and leave me a comment. Let me know, Scorpio, how this plays out for you in the month ahead, what manifests for you in September. For more on me and my work, click the links in the description below and head over to my website at beyondtheveiltarot.com. There you can book a personal reading with me, check out my astro calendars, and maybe even check out my courses. I teach astrology as well. All right, well, that being said, Scorpio, you know that you're ruled by two planets. So we look at what's going on both with Mars as well as Pluto. And there's some Mars stuff that's going on and there's some Pluto stuff that's going on. So we're going to be able to cover both. Obviously, Pluto is your modern day ruler, and this is a planet of transformation. It's about power, depth, and rebirth. Now, Pluto is actually retrograde still in Aquarius in your fourth house. So part of what's going on is you're still reviewing or revising home, family, roots, emotional foundations. And Aquarius is a sign that brings innovative and sometimes disruptive energy to domestic matters. So really, you're in a process over the next 20 years to really, make profound changes when it comes to uncovering family secrets, maybe, totally revolutionizing your security, where you kind of call home. And it definitely stirs a little bit of emotional digs, but really it's empowering you to release old patterns. Just watch out for some hidden power struggles that can kind of come up this month when Mars in Scorpio comes into a square with Pluto in Aquarius. This will, I think, really urge you or push you to break with the past and to kind of let go of old standing hurts in family or blockages in home situations. Now, overall, I think for the most part, you're going to find that September is really amplifying more of your kind of investigative nature. You're going to focus on transforming your inner security and also your personal empowerment. This can be a time where you're kind of facing ancestral wounds, but you're building more resilient foundations and maybe guarding against, control obsessions as well. So I look forward to seeing that manifest for you guys. All right, now let's dive into the key transits for the month ahead. I'm going to go day by day and cover these transits, and I'll be talking about what each transit means for you, giving you some examples and helping you navigate the month as smoothly as possible. We're going to start first with September the 1st, and this is going to be when Saturn retrogrades back into your fifth house in the sign of Pisces. Now, Saturn returning back to your fifth house, I think, can actually be beneficial for Scorpio, especially if you have any planetary placements in Scorpio between 23 and 29 degrees, because Saturn will be trining you. So see Saturn in your fifth house as bringing stability, structure, commitment to how you're changing and transforming. Obviously, the fifth house is the house of creativity. It's about romance, children, as well as having fun and self-employment. So this is really prompting for the next couple of months since the beginning of 2026, a final review of these topics. Being a little bit more disciplined when it comes to your creative projects, your joyful expressions, and obviously karmic lessons in love or hobbies that can bring delays that actually build maturity. Potentially, this can limit spontaneity, or you can feel like there's a bit of like a blockage that can kind of come up with self-expression or relationships. It's possible a romantic interest is requiring more commitment and maybe kind of testing your vulnerability. I would say to navigate this, you want to, focus on self-expression, try to strengthen your artistic routines, and embrace the slow progress as a authentic kind of way of expressing yourself, finding pleasure. And maybe this is also going to be about finding ways to creatively express yourself with instruments, with art, with stuff online, as Saturn is kind of connected to your third house. There can be a little bit more responsibility and challenges also revolving around children as well as Saturn comes into this house. Now, on the 2nd of the month, Mercury is going to be entering into the sign of Virgo. So it's leaving your career house. It's going into your social networking, kind of partying house, where it's going to be really lighting up anything in regards to communication with groups, with friends, your aspirations, and also your networks. And Mercury does very well in Virgo. It's very well known for being kind of detailed and analytical. So detailed planning of future goals with friends definitely shine. There can be some overcriticism that can strain some alliances, so watch out for that. But if you need to refine a group project and if you're focusing on some kind of collective success, it's a great, transit for that. I like the idea of like sending invitations, networking with people, joining new groups, starting groups, maybe using spreadsheets to focus on your goals and, fostering inclusive talks to avoid isolation and network virtually. That can be a really great opportunity for you as well. Now, on September the 4th, you're going to see that Mars in your 12th house of Libra, where you're kind of working on things behind the scenes, and maybe you're feeling a little bit more like you need to rest or you're retreating, will come into a square with Jupiter in the sign of Cancer in your 9th house. So a little bit of a tricky energy. Obviously, there's tension that's kind of building between the actions that you're taking behind the scenes, or maybe you just need more rest or recuperation, and it's squaring the need to go to school, to travel, to, teach somebody something. There can also be some shifts in your beliefs or your philosophy about relationships. And it could also represent needing to seek the guidance of a teacher, mentor, or a legal professional. I think that there's going to be an inner drives kind of clashing with worldview growth. And it can really show you where, suppressed anger is kind of coming up, and there could be some spiritual kind of conflicts as a result of that. So I think that, this could be a good time for like tapping into meditation. It might spark some debates revolving around your belief system. It can also be a time where, travel or education is a little bit tense. I do recommend maybe doing some journaling, to kind of work through some of these subconscious impulses that are coming up. And you want to expand your horizons mindfully and try to find balance. There could be some feelings of wanting to retreat, and like other people are kind of pressing on you. And I don't know who it is. It could mean that, it could be in-laws, it could be family afar, it could be teachers, and there could definitely be some like heated debates here. So be careful with that. All right, on the 5th of the month, you're going to find that Uranus is retrograding, and that's going to be happening in Gemini in your natal 8th house. And with Uranus retrograde, it's going through a part of your chart that deals with intimacy, also secrets and shared resources, anything in regards to lending, debt, and transformation. And this is where innovations are turning inward when it comes to deep emotional, financial, or psychological matters. So you can find that there can be sudden insights into joint finances, or maybe bonds are getting reviewed for authenticity. An unexpected inheritance detail or joint finance detail can prompt some kind of reevaluation. You might be reviewing tax documents or agreements or anything in terms of joint finances. And I would be saying this is a good time to explore maybe alternative therapies in the 8th house. Avoid any rash shared financial decisions and use the retrograde for personal empowerment. Now, on the 7th of the month, you're going to see a full moon, a lunar eclipse taking place in the sign of Pisces in your natal 5th house, Scorpio. And if you happen to be Scorpio, sun, moon, or rising, I would say 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 degrees. This will be trining your placements, and actually you will get a trine to Jupiter as well. So I think this is going to be extra sweet for Scorpio risings. This is my favorite eclipse all year long. So I think that that's the benefit, is how sweet this one is, and it's going to kind of make up maybe for how challenging the one later in the month is going to be. And when you have a lunar eclipse, this is a full moon where the moon is in your 5th house, the sun is in your 11th house. And it's kind of showing emotional releases in creativity versus group aspirations. So there can be culminations in romance. There could be this fun, free energy, for social connections. And maybe it's urging you to let go of unfulfilling pleasures. Huge focus and emphasis on children. So if you have kids, some Scorpio risings are family planning. Some Scorpios will get pregnant as a result of this eclipse. And it's great for romance and meeting people, okay? And I like this eclipse because it's ruled by Jupiter. It's trining Jupiter, and Jupiter is exalted in Cancer in your 9th. So, children and education looks positive. Traveling and romance looks positive. Going to a ceremony, a wedding, a party, maybe meeting somebody, right? That could be good. But I think that for the most part, these are water trines. So it's going to be where you're feeling more emotionally fulfilled about what you're creating or what you're doing for pleasure. And you're also learning as well. So taking a dance class, an art class, a music class can be beneficial for you. And if you're involved in teaching, education, or publishing, this can also be really wonderful for those Scorpios. Now, something to think about is that this is also a wonderful time to be sharing what you create with other people. So if you're self-employed or if you're an artist, sharing it with a collective can be beneficial for this as well. Big turning points can happen for romantic relationships, more kind of being like you're just meeting somebody or you're talking about kind of going to the next step or the next phase in a relationship. Now, September 13th, you're going to be seeing the sun conjunct Mercury in the sign of Virgo. So this is happening in your 11th house of allies, friends, and social networks or goals. This is a cazimi, so this is where Mercury is making a superior conjunction with the sun, and it's bringing clarity when it comes to your friendships, your group goals, or a chance meeting. This will illuminate your ideas for networks, making it perfect for collaborating and brainstorming or having some kind of business meeting with others. It's possible that a friend connection can spark a goal realization. And I really recommend around this time to pitch ideas boldly, especially in a professional setting, and maybe update your vision board to kind of keep up the momentum. Watch for invitations and chance opportunities to join groups and associations. Now, on the 17th of the month, Mercury will be opposing Saturn in Pisces. Definitely a little bit more of a difficult energy. Mercury is where you connect and collaborate with other people. It is about change and finances. And it will oppose Saturn in your 5th house of pleasure, joy, and creativity. So this is linking your 11th and your 5th houses. And I think that there could be kind of social talks that are facing some kind of creative restriction. Serious discussions might reveal limits in fun when it comes to groups. There can be group feedback on a hobby that feels very, very heavy, or there can be a sense of like your kid's not getting along well with other kids on the playground. What you've created, you might feel like people aren't responding very well to. And I would say try to structure responses thoughtfully, learn from the critiques because it can really help you deepen the way that you create and the way that you grow. Not a good day for conversations with friends, and it's also a time where you might feel like you're just not feeling love or you're not getting the recognition that you want. Now, on the 18th of the month, then Mercury enters into Libra, so it leaves Virgo, it goes into your 12th house, which is going to be more kind of private, behind the scenes, and subconscious. So you're shifting to kind of a balanced subconscious period. And what I like about this is that it can definitely show you where there's more harmonious kind of inner dialogue, but you're having to reflect in order to get there. There can be some indecisiveness and hidden matters that can arise, and there could be hidden relationship conversations or like pillow talk that's coming up. You may find that you're really intrigued by dream interpretation, or there could be some really vivid dreams you have over the next couple of weeks. And I really recommend, with Mercury being in the 12th house, meditating on balance. This might be a time where you're seeking the assistance of a healer or a therapist. Maybe doing some dream journaling can be good as well. While Mercury is in your 12th house, it is going to trine Pluto, your chart ruler, in the 4th. So it's great for, organizing, cleaning, anything kind of connecting to bedrooms, closets, clearing out just the junk in the garage, or, whatever you need to feel like things are a little bit better organized. I love that it's going to trine Uranus in your 8th house. Some of you guys might be able to sell or get rid of things, and it's going to trine Pluto in the 4th house that could help transform your home. Now, we are going to see on the 19th of the month, Venus is going to enter into the sign of Virgo. and it'll go through your 11th house of friends and allies. Venus is tied to relationships, partnerships, as well as unexpected connections. So it is possible with Venus going through the 11th house, you're focusing on the relationships you have with other people, maybe your friends, your social groups, and love with Venus in Virgo is really expressing through helpful networks. So this is about working through perfectionist issues, and maybe a thoughtful group gesture can help strengthen bonds. I think that volunteering with other people, collaborating with other people, and valuing quality over quantity when it comes to your friendships is definitely the frame of mind that you want to have. Certainly, relationships can be found, or people romantically, you can kind of connect to in social settings as well. And it can also be like professional networking or education events. Now, on September the 21st, we're going to have a solar eclipse at 29 degrees of Virgo. So, it's a double dose of Virgo new moons. We had one that was in August at 0 degrees. This is the second one that's actually a solar eclipse new moon that's going to be at 29 degrees. So there's just so much focus on the 11th house right now. For me, I think about this and I'm like, well, this eclipse is very critical because 29 degrees means we must do something. We must do it now. And it can bring a little bit of drama, and it can bring action, unlike the lunar eclipse, which is much more about kind of closure and completion. So this is a new moon that is seeding faded beginnings in your goals and your connections with other people. Obviously, social or goal shifts arise, and you're releasing outdated networks or friendships to find new groups or a fresh path moving forward. It's a good time to join a community or transform your future. And I think that I would set collective intentions. I would also embrace change gradually as this energy unfolds. When the eclipse happens, it's going to be in opposition to Saturn in the 5th house. So it's about you kind of recognizing and realizing that you're focusing more on your happiness, your romantic, connections, your projects, even your children. And it might mean that it's requiring you to kind of go, okay, I have to actually let some of these people go to really harness more of this energy, to feel more fulfilled personally. So the good thing is Virgo is friendly with Scorpio, but at the time of the eclipse, Mercury, the ruler, will be in your 12th house. So it means that you have to let go of a relationship to someone or something to bring you some kind of personal fulfillment or joy. It could mean that you're dropping out of a group or you're not participating in some kind of group collaboration anymore. And I think the positive, because there is a positive here, is that it's at 29 degrees. So it's 1 degree away from being a Libra degree. That means it's trining Pluto in your 4th house. It's almost like you have to let go of some of these group expectations, or the expectations that friends or groups have on you, or you have to change your goals in order to feel fully capable of being able to transform what you want to transform or need to transform on the home front, right? 4th house Pluto. All right, on the 22nd of the month, Mars enters Scorpio, and this is your power up period, Scorpio. Mars loves being in your sign as one of your rulers. It loves being in the 1st house where it can get things done. So it's definitely intensifying your self-identity. It's about taking action, being passionate, and your personal drive is really empowering you. And this could be physical fitness. This could be a to-do list. This could be focusing on your health. And I recommend having a morning routine. Work out in the morning, get up, take the dogs for a walk, do something. Because this passionate energy, it empowers you, but it can also overwhelm you if it's not checked. So asserting boundaries is important, I think, to boost your confidence. And I also think that if you exercise for release and you channel this passion into something that's productive, that also has some kind of self-goal tied to it, it's going to be helpful for you. Remember that Mars is also the dispositor of, Neptune. So this could mean that, you're trying to kind of get into a new habit or routine. And definitely, this could be with work. This could be working out with your animals, whatever. And Mars is going to come into an inconjunct or a quincunx with both Saturn and Neptune. So it's going to actually show you where you're kind of agitated because you're feeling like you don't have time to do the things that you really enjoy doing. And that's going to show you how to make a change. The other thing to think about is also on the 22nd, not only will Mars go into your sign, but you're going to see the sun is going to enter into Libra. So here in the Northern Hemisphere, this is going to be the equinox, the fall equinox. And this is where you're now focusing on your inner balance, 12th house Libra. This will be illuminating subconscious harmony, and it's definitely a time for spiritual deepening, meditation, being alone, reflection, healing, going to foreign lands, and maybe getting into like a meditation routine can be helpful. And I really recommend doing some like solitary reflection or doing some work creatively behind the scenes. And this is also about kind of like forgiving past selves so that way you can have some kind of peace. And then finally, at the end of the month on, I take that back. We have two more. On the 23rd of the month, you're going to see the Sun in Libra in your 12th house, opposing Neptune in your 6th house in Aries. So Scorpio, on the 23rd, you need to really be mindful of your health and your habits and your routines. Overworking with the Sun in the 12th house is going to lead to you feeling like depleted and run down, and you could be having some health issues. Obviously, touch wood. So I recommend watching for these inner illusions that are kind of clashing with health ideals. Confusion over matters can affect daily routines, and you need to be more discerning so you can tell what is and is not possible. There can be like a vague fatigue that's kind of prompting wellness checks as well. And I would just say kind of ground out your lists or routines, but make time for inner clarity and rest also. And then on the 24th of the month, there is a really heavy hitting energy for you, Scorpio, where both of your planetary energies are going to be in a cosmic clash with one another. Mars in your 1st house of assertiveness, action, and drive is squaring off with Pluto in your 4th house of home and family. Basically, this can mean that there is a power struggle that's kind of going on, or that there is a lot of personal intensity that's coming up because of a home transformation. And so I think it could bring up power struggles and identity versus roots that lead to breakthroughs. A family confrontation can lead to empowerment, and we want to transform any anger into powerful, long-lasting change. Breathe through the tension and whatever comes up. Know that this can be a time where you're like, that's it, I'm ready to move, or I've had it with this living situation, or I've had it with my roommate, and you don't want to have conflict. You want to be more focused on, okay, this is happening. What are you going to do about it? How are you going to actually take charge and make change happen? So that's basically the transit deep dive for you guys for this month. I think that the best days for Scorpio and Scorpio risings are going to be the September 13th, where there's going to be opportunity for, social clarity kind of aligning with depth, and it's prime for insights from friends. I think the eclipse that you're actually going to see that will also be on the 7th can be really good for romance and relationships and creative opportunities, and also getaways and travel and romantic opportunities. And I would say the other transit that I like for you also is the 22nd, when Mars goes into your sign, because this is going to offer you the opportunity to transform yourself, to have more power and stamina, and also the willingness to kind of get things done. So seize those opportunities. For the challenging days, believe it or not, the 4th, you will see there is some inner tension, so you need to stay reflective. The 17th might show you where there's some limits on fun, and so you just have to kind of be patient if group things don't play out. And September 24th, when Mars and Pluto square, where there can be some drama that's happening on the home front. Prioritize introspection, stay calm if you can. So wrapping it all up, Scorpio, this is basically a month of rebirth. I think that there's lots of social opportunities, but also room to pause and reflect as we move into Libra season. I hope that you continue to work with some of these Pluto transits so you can kind of feel your roots and build more resilience and obviously emerge renewed. We are preparing as we go through Libra season this month and go into Scorpio season next month. So what you're going to find is that this can be a month where there is like a need to review what you're releasing and letting go of, and you're kind of renewing your energy. So hopefully it is going to be restful if you need it. If you resonated with this reading, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Make sure you comment and let me know how this transpires for you for the month ahead. And I hope that was helpful. I'm going to pull a tarot card for you and let you know what's going to be the themes and the recommendation from the tarot for September. Love it. Strength card. Great card. attention, I think, is really going to show you your strength this month. And there's going to be a bit of it. This is a card that deals obviously with courage, bravery, confidence, compassion, self-confidence, and inner power, right? And when this card comes up, it's about taming your inner beast and mastering your emotions. You have the strength and the courage to overcome any challenge. I feel like the challenges are going to be more about where you're bringing some kind of much needed change to the home front. That's very much like Mars coming into square with Pluto. I think also the eclipse in your 11th house is showing you, some kind of focus on some of your goals and connecting and collaborating with other people, or having the courage to say, actually, this friendship doesn't suit me anymore. This doesn't make me happy anymore. I have to prioritize something new. And I feel like it's really shining a light on something. It's connected to the sun. So the first half of the month, you're focusing on your goals and what you're hoping to achieve and desire. So I think that it's going to be a good month in that sense. A lot of you guys have worked out some of the kinks that you've been dealing with Mercury retrograde in your 10th, and Venus will be going through the 10th most of the month as well. So that's really good for, getting recognition and really stealing the spotlight. I hope that was helpful for you, Scorpio, and I will catch you guys back here next month in October. Take care.